In the grim land of Scotland, a group of little children gather in a narrow room, sitting cross-legged in front of an old television that plays the Teletubbies show. Their innocent smiles contrast with the eerie atmosphere outside the house. The children are not gathered there to play, but because something terrifying happens outside. Chaos they do not fully understand yet. Little Jimmy, whose curiosity cannot be contained, slowly walks toward the door and peeks outside. His eyes widen as he sees a reality far beyond his expectations. Their house is under attack by bloodthirsty creatures, the zombies. They attack relentlessly, destroying anything in their way. Without thinking twice, Jimmy immediately runs out of the house, trying to avoid the chase of the undead. He rushes through the devastated streets toward the church, where his father usually leads prayers. His father, a pastor who has long lost hope, sits calmly in front of the altar as if he has surrendered to fate. He looks at his son with empty eyes and says that maybe this is God's will, that the zombies are divine messengers sent to take his life. Jimmy can only watch with tears streaming down his face. Then he leaves his father to be devoured by the zombies, and finally, he turns into a zombie. After managing to hide from the zombies, Jimmy goes out of the church to look for any help he can find. Then, the scene shifts and reveals that the deadly virus has spread across the entire United Kingdom, leaving the survivors to fight on their own. There is an island that has been completely quarantined, cut off from the outside world, and the survivors inside must now endure life in loneliness and fear. 28 years pass. On a remote island far from the crowd, a teenager named Spike lives a life very different from those on the mainland. Together with his father, Jamie, he stays in a small community safe from zombie attacks because it is surrounded by the ocean. The island becomes the last stronghold of normal life. They also live with Isla, Spike's mother, a gentle woman suffering from a mysterious illness. No one knows exactly what the illness is, but it is clear from her empty eyes and frequent memory loss. One morning, Jamie talks seriously with Spike. He says that it is time for Spike, who is now growing up, to learn how to hunt zombies. Jamie wants to take him to the mainland so that Spike can learn to survive and protect himself. Isla, who hears the conversation, immediately refuses with anger. However, her anger quickly fades as her illness relapses, making her forget what is happening. Spike can only hug his mother and let her rest again on their simple bed. Aside from their family, there is also Sam, Jamie's old friend who is very close to Spike. Sam is like an uncle or even a second father to him. Everyone in the island community welcomes the plan for Spike's journey, even showing excitement to support him. They know that one day their children must also face the outside world that is no longer friendly. Their journey starts at the island's border. They are a middle-aged woman who serves as guard warns Jamie and Spike firmly. She says that once they leave the island, there is no guarantee of safety. And more importantly, if there are any signs of infection, they will not be allowed to return, no matter who they are. Spike and Jamie continue their journey, crossing a narrow path that can only be passed when the sea water recedes. The path looks like a thin vein in the middle of the vast ocean, connecting their island with the mysterious and dangerous mainland. For Spike, this is the first time he sees such a wide world, and his feelings mix between awe and fear. After walking deep into the forest, they finally encounter Spike's first enemy, a fat zombie that moves slowly but remains deadly. Jamie orders his son to shoot an arrow straight to the zombie's neck. This moment becomes Spike's first test as a hunter. He holds his breath, pulls the bow, and releases the arrow, a first step he will always remember. However, the sound of the shot attracts other zombies. Without them realizing it, another creature comes from behind. Screams and inhuman breaths echo from every direction. Jamie and Spike struggle to survive, and although panicked, they manage to escape the attack. They then continue their journey and pass through a herd of deer running among the trees. At an abandoned old house, they decide to go inside to search for supplies. Jamie finds an old toy from the time before the outbreak, something very strange to Spike, who grew up in the post-apocalyptic world. Suddenly, a scream comes from inside the house. They find a human hanging, apparently left to be infected. Jamie uses this chance to test Spike's courage, telling him to finish off the half-zombie. Although hesitant and trembling, Spike tries to do it, and finally, the zombie dies. Meanwhile, on the island, the children practice archery under Sam's guidance, while Isla secretly watches from afar. There is hope amid fear. On the other side, Jamie and Spike face another horror. They find a deer carcass torn apart, and a deer's head hung high on a tree. Jamie immediately knows this is a sign of the alpha zombie's presence, a zombie variant that is much faster, stronger, and deadlier. They decide to leave the place quickly. Unfortunately, it is too late. The horde of zombies starts chasing them with terrifying speed. Spike, terrified, fails to shoot accurately. However, they manage to enter an old house and hide in the attic. Night falls. On the island, the women prepare a simple party to welcome Spike. But on the mainland, Spike and Jamie remain trapped in the house, surrounded by zombies, and unable to return because the sea water has risen. Jamie tries to calm his son, saying it does not matter if today's Spike is not perfect at shooting. This is only the first step. At midnight, Spike sees a flickering firelight in the dark forest. Jamie admits he has never seen that place before and suspects there are other people out there. While sleeping, Spike has a nightmare that makes him scream. In his dream, his mother drowns in the sea while their house collapses from the vibrations of running deer. Jamie quickly wakes him up and comforts him, with the situation forcing them. They finally decide to return to the island that same night, crossing the narrow path only passable during low tide. But the alpha zombie appears again, chasing them with terrifying speed. They run as fast as they can toward the island gate. Luckily, the guard acts quickly and manages to shoot the alpha zombie straight through, killing it at last. After being checked and confirmed not infected, Spike and Jamie are allowed to enter. The celebration begins. Everyone looks happy. Jamie tells their adventure dramatically, making Spike appear like a hero. But amid the crowd, Spike walks out because he feels nauseous. Outside, he accidentally sees Jamie having an affair with another woman. And finally, Spike's heart breaks. He returns home and meets Sam. When asked about his journey, Spike tells everything. About the alpha zombie, about the mysterious firelight in the forest, and about what he saw. Sam mentions the name Dr. Kelson, a doctor who is said to still be alive and most likely the source of that light. Spike is surprised because his father never told him about this person. Sam explains that Dr. Kelson is considered dangerous and full of mystery. That night, Spike sleeps beside his mother. The next day, Isla complains about a severe headache. When Jamie returns, Spike immediately confronts him, asking why he never told him about Dr. Kelson. Jamie answers that long ago, he and the others once saw Dr. Kelson collecting a large number of corpses, then burning them while taking their skulls. Dr. Kelson even waved at them calmly, as if without guilt. Spike angrily accuses Jamie of thinking only about himself. He says, "If Mother dies, will you be with that woman from last night?" Jamie, carried away by emotion, slaps Spike. But Spike does not back down. He tells Jamie to stay away from his mother and leave them alone. The next day, Spike makes his own plan. He burns the warehouse to distract the guard, then takes Isla away in secret. Isla, realizing they're now on the mainland, panics. But Spike assures her they only want to find a doctor who can cure her. They travel a long way through city ruins and forest paths until they finally arrive at an old building. They decide to rest there for the night. While relaxing, Isla suddenly asks if Jamie likes to joke because Spike's grandfather also liked to make jokes. That short moment feels warm in the middle of a dark world. They fall asleep in exhaustion. However, without them realizing it, danger slowly approaches. A fat zombie crawls in, its body moving strangely like a giant caterpillar. Spike still sleeps soundly, not realizing their lives are now in danger. The zombie's claw almost touches his body, and the next second may be the end of his life. Surprisingly, when the morning sun shines on the ruined world, the creature lies lifeless on the ground, its body full of wounds and no longer moving. At first, Spike thinks this is a miracle, a blessing without explanation. But then the truth reveals itself. Isla, in a half-conscious state due to her mysterious illness, is the one who killed the zombie. She rose and did it without remembering anything that had happened. Her illness makes her move like in a dream, acting without full control of herself. Meanwhile, in another terrifying location, a group of soldiers fights desperately to escape from endless hordes of zombies. They're in a narrow canal area filled with traps. In despair, they choose to take shelter in a pitch-dark tunnel, hoping to find a safe place at the end. But their hope is crushed immediately. As they go deeper, their steps stop because a terrifying figure appears, a giant alpha zombie. Its attacks are brutal, showing no mercy. In minutes, all the soldiers are taken down one by one. Only one soldier survives, leaving the remains of his comrades behind. Spike and Isla continue their journey and finally reach a beautiful place, a stark contrast to the ruined world. A field of yellow flowers stretches as far as the eye can see. When Isla steps on it, a deep sense of nostalgia overwhelms her. The place brings back childhood memories, when she walked through fields like this with her father, laughing, joking without fear. The feeling is so strong that Isla unconsciously starts calling Spike father. Maybe it is because of her illness. Maybe it is because Spike has become the only person she trusts in this world. But the peace does not last long. From behind, a thin zombie slowly approaches them with threatening steps. Spike quickly reacts and kills it. However, the zombie's final scream echoes across the area, triggering the arrival of a horde of other zombies. In panic, Spike and Isla run to the nearest gas station, hoping to find a vehicle or at least fuel to escape. Unfortunately, all hope is gone. The gasoline there has long evaporated. They're now trapped in a room full of fuel vapors, a place that could explode at any spark. In the middle of the tension, the door opens and a man with a gun enters, shooting the zombies chasing them. And finally the zombies die. The shooter's name is Eric. Eric says that the reason he saved them is because he knows Spike is a native of the island, a fact that, for some reason, is very important to him. However, when he realizes that Spike actually does not know much about the history or the current situation, disappointment shows on Eric's face. He feels his hope is wasted. Eric then tells them who he is. He is a Swedish soldier originally assigned to a special mission. But bad luck brought him to this island after the ship he boarded sank due to a zombie attack. All his comrades died. Now, he is the only one who survives, and he knows no reinforcements will come to rescue him. After that incident, the three of them decide to continue their journey toward the only hope left, Dr. Kelson. Along the way, they rest in a vast, quiet meadow. There, Eric takes an object from his pocket, a cell phone. He shows it to Spike, who looks at it curiously, not knowing what it is. Eric then shows a photo of his fiancée, stored on the screen. Spike, innocently and honestly, comments that the woman's face looks like it has been stung by a bee. Eric then asks, with some curiosity, why Isla keeps calling Spike father. Spike answers in a low voice that his mother suffers from an illness that often confuses her mind and erases her memory. A few minutes later, Isla suddenly stands and tells them to keep moving, as if something is calling her. On the way, Spike explains to Eric about creatures called alpha zombies. According to him, this type of zombie is the result of a long evolutionary process. They become stronger, smarter, and far more dangerous, as if their bodies are given natural steroids, making them almost impossible to defeat. Suddenly, they hear the sound of crying coming from the direction of an old, abandoned train. Filled with curiosity and empathy, Isla approaches to check. Inside, they find a sight they never imagined, a female zombie in labor about to give birth. Although aware of the risk, Isla feels pity and decides to help with the delivery. Surprisingly, the baby born from the zombie's body is not infected by the virus. The baby is healthy, crying like a normal human baby. Because the zombie mother wants to attack, Eric immediately kills her and harshly orders them to leave the baby, believing it must already be contaminated. But Spike insists he is sure the baby is clean. Suddenly, the alpha zombie returns, the same creature that previously terrorized Eric's troops. With incredible strength, the monster attacks Eric, and finally his head is torn off. Spike and Isla now must run for their lives, chased by the most dangerous monster they have ever met. When they almost run out of road, a man appears, the one they have been searching for all along. He is Dr. Kelson, calm and fearless. Dr. Kelson approaches them and greets them. While looking at the alpha zombie, which seems to weaken, Dr. Kelson calls the creature by name, Samson. After that, they're taken to Dr. Kelson's dwelling, a strange yet peaceful place. Spike asks what this place is. Dr. Kelson answers that it is a monument of death. He has collected bones from humans and zombies for years, whether alive, dead, infected, or not. Memento mori, he says in a deep voice. Remember that you will die. Everyone will. As a form of respect, he burns Eric's body and takes his skull to place it properly in the monument. He also explains that he paints his body so zombies cannot recognize him as human. Spike then tells him about the baby born from a zombie. Dr. Kelson is very surprised, but also amazed. He explains that the placenta can serve as a natural shield for the fetus against the virus, a biological miracle little known. Night falls. Dr. Kelson examines Isla's condition. Without advanced medical tools, he can recognize the symptoms and conclude that Isla has terminal brain cancer. All the hallucinations, headaches, and changes in her behavior have been caused by the disease. There is no cure, no hope. Spike cries, begging for his mother to be saved. But Dr. Kelson can only shake his head and say, "Memento mori." Finally, to end Isla's suffering, Dr. Kelson sedates Spike so he does not witness it, then injects a fluid that ends Isla's life peacefully, and at last she dies. When Spike wakes up, Dr. Kelson has brought his mother's skull and tells Spike to place it at the top of the monument. With tears streaming down his face, Spike climbs the tall bone structure and places her skull at the highest point, welcoming the sunrise slowly shining on their new world. But it is not over. The alpha zombie Samson is not completely dead. He rises again and attacks. They hide underground. When Kelson is about to be killed, Spike fights back with the doctor's tranquilizer arrow, and finally, Samson is knocked out. Now he is no longer a scare boy. He has become a hero. Now it is time for Spike to go home. He carries the baby, the last legacy of Isla, and returns to his home island. 28 days pass. Spike now walks alone across a vast land. He has left the baby at the house, along with a letter for his father, Jamie. In the letter, he writes that Isla is gone, and the baby is now named Isla, the same name as his mother. Jamie, who reads the letter, can only cry. His son has gone, and he can only watch his departure with a broken heart. Meanwhile, Spike, now a wanderer, roasts fish by a lake. But suddenly, a horde of super-fast zombies appears and chases him. Spike runs with all his strength. When hope almost fades, a mysterious man appears with his group. They fight with acrobatic moves like Power Rangers. And who is he? This man turns out to be Jimmy, who at the beginning of the story hid under the church, and he has returned with an inverted cross necklace. 28 years later movie ends with Jimmy offering Spike to join his group, and finally, he shakes hands with Jimmy. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification so you don't miss the latest recaps. Thanks for watching and wish you good health.